Okay, so no, it was just to note that I had a quick peek from up on high.
No, are we going? Are we going to do a proper introduction to the program first?
No, we can do that after this.
Are we?
This was kind of a prelude, wasn't it?
Oh right, okay.
A preface. I think that was the idea. It was a. I had a quick peek from up on.
This?
Can I speak about this thing?
No.
Of course we're going to use it. We're 2 minutes in. I'm not wasting this amount of time. 3 minutes in. I had a quick look from up high on the site of the rink today. I'd take advantage and have a look, and there was something else happening today. So I don't really understand building. So if anyone wants to, I can describe it, and if anyone else who does understand it, perhaps people here understand. There's been lots of digging, and it looks quite flat now, which is it wasn't before, was it? It wasn't flat, definitely. So it does look quite flat. Unfortunately, it's all underwater as well because of the amount of horrendous weather we've had. But there was some sort of wooden sort of structure-y thing going up. So you were suggesting, is that something to do with, you know about all this stuff, do you, John? Something to do with piling, is it?
Well, I think that there's some of that's got to be done first. So
would it maybe like be sort of huts or something?
Storage.
Yeah, just
well, I don't know. It was
well,
I don't know. It was. It looked like they were almost measuring us. Anyway, I suppose the point is, who knows what I'm talking about? There was something different happening today to what's been happening in the past.
The important thing is there's something happening.
There was something. This is the key line. If I can get it out, there was something different happening. No, I can't speak. There was something different happening today to what has been happening for the last 2 weeks. That's basically all the information I can give. But it's very exciting, isn't it?
It is.
How excited are you?
You heard it first here on Inferno TV.
Yeah.
Things are happening.
The orange light was flashing as well, I noticed on the digger.
Oh, that's
which
definitely.
Is encouraging.
Well, the digger's been...
Does that mean it's reversing?
The digger's been going like Billio.
He has.
In fairness, over the last 2 weeks, I've been worried about him because he's left out overnight as well.
We're going to end up, we're going to be like sort of 12 months down the line, and we're going to find out they've actually done an extension to the pool. That's why it's all underwater, because it was outside but a bit extra.
A fifth slide.
Yeah.
No, anyway, should we get on with it then? So are you going to do the chart, the rundown of what we're going to talk about?
Am I?
Yes, yeah, why not?
Well, somebody can do it.
Oh, that's good to know.
This week on Inferno TV, such diverse elements as...
It's so exciting this week, I haven't got a clue what's going on.
The news thing behind it.
It's like the Fishguard thing, isn't it? Do the news from Fishguard next.
So,
go on, Aled.
No, go on, John.
Okay. We'll be reviewing the recent games. Those and the last one under Brent and the Coach Whistle. We'll be talking about Chris Blight, Coach Whistle himself.
Or Coach Cock and Balls as he is.
That's a whistle.
That's a whistle, Aled. Behave. The new guys who've come in. That's Jipta, Steve, Kozowski, and Rama. We'll have a little chat about the Olympics, that to look forward to, and the hat on tour. And then we've got to look forward to Dundee, the Dundee game that's coming up, and the visit of the Dundee Travel Club, I believe, have confirmed they are coming with the enormous jersey, which is always good news. We look forward to seeing them.
Do they actually pay extra for the seats that the jersey takes up?
We've tried.
Because I asked this last time, because that jersey, I mean, that was filling a good sort of 30, 40 seats. I mean, not that it really matters very often.
It's good to see, though, isn't it?
That's amazing. Like what you have at football and stuff like that.
Yeah, they do something in Newcastle.
Haven't you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
They got an absolutely enormous Dundee Stars jersey.
God.
It was brilliant.
Yeah, they have it in Newcastle as well.
Do you know, I've never been underneath one. I might become a Dundee fan for a few moments just to go underneath it.
They all go around the edge of it.
Oh, do they? Oh, normally you pass it along, don't you?
Well, you could, but there wasn't enough of them. But the playoffs, I'm sure that's what they'll be doing.
I definitely think we could get a massive jersey.
But it has been discussed. We have been discussing doing something like that. You know, some of the fans have been talking about it. Should it be a big flag with the Devils logo on, or should it be a big jersey?
I was quite impressed by the Devils flag we had up in Scotland.
Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it?
Flag. That was really
yeah, the one that's saltire.
Yeah.
With the Devils logo, that was really good. Yeah.
Good. So we got through that anyway. So we're going to start with discussion of last Thursday's, which is a week yesterday by the time this goes out, I presume. The 4-3 overtime win over Panthers. And I suppose we could lump into that then the 2-1 win up at their place as well. Yeah. Because that's a very rare home and home win. Yeah, series win against the Panthers.
Any win in
In Nottingham.
In Nottingham is.
You know this stuff. When was the last time we won in regulation up there?
Well, I think the last time we won at all up there was 2012. At the end of the 2012 series, season. But yeah, I think in the Elite League we won like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. This might be rubbish, but I have a feeling was that their first regulation loss this season
at home? Regulation loss at home this season. Yeah. Well,
so there we go.
According to them.
Yeah. So we've at least we've managed to skip the home win in our chat. What did you think of the home win?
I thought the biggest thing for me was the fight back in the game, because was it 3-1 down?
That's right.
3-1.
We looked emotionally tired. We looked physically tired. And after the recent Scotland exploits and all the games in a big run, I think that was completely understandable. The big defeat in Belfast, I think it was perfectly understandable to see the guys like that. And then I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a big change in the guys' attitude, and they all started skating again.
There was a nasty hit, wasn't there? I seem to remember. Thinking back now, there's been so many games since then. Was there a bit of a tussle, and that went in our favour more than anything? Yeah.
Well, there was the Grimaldi hit, wasn't there? At home.
Was that the one?
Do you not remember? Yeah, Joe Grimaldi. Yeah, the Joe Grimaldi hit in the corner.
That's right.
And we got a power play, and he got a misconduct, and he was one of their better players as well. I was really impressed with him. And
unfortunately, that ended his career, more or less.
Well, it ended his career in the Elite League, which for some people isn't the biggest loss in the world. I remember when.
10-minute misconduct, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's pretty harsh, isn't it?
I suppose, but then he'd missed 5 games or whatever.
It was a bit of a turning point, but then it wasn't his fault that the guys on the ice suddenly capitulated.
No, that's right. Well, perhaps it showed how valuable a player he was.
Yeah.
Possibly.
I was surprised at Oreskovic. Is it Oreskovic, the new guy?
Yeah.
Who doesn't look match fit, doesn't look agile, didn't really look like he'd added a lot to the Panthers team for me in that game.
It's interesting. I mean, perhaps we can sort of segue this a bit later, but he's been talked about probably mainly due to the link to Mike Ware. He's his nephew, isn't he? About fans wanting him to come to Cardiff for years, isn't he, for Oreskovic? And on that form, you wouldn't fancy him, yeah?
No, because it's too easy to get around him. So whether he improves with more ice time, I don't really know. But it was too easy to skate around him. He's too big to be agile. Certainly on the small ice, didn't really suit him. Maybe on the Nottingham home ice, he looks better.
Yeah.
But certainly in that early to be fair to him, it was an early observation, obviously, and maybe he isn't on his game yet. But in that one, it looked too easy to get around him.
Has he been playing this season, or is it a case of he isn't match fit?
I don't know, and I wouldn't want to do him an injustice. So maybe he isn't match fit. And the other thing, of course, was Brent's last game in charge.
It was.
So that was and Brent has had an excellent home record, and that was good to see the guys fight back in that and continue that excellent home form.
Yeah, and actually, if you take the Belfast games aside, it was a pretty good run overall, wasn't it? I know there was the hammering in Nottingham and stuff, but as you say, the home form was good, and that's what the club needed to get back, wasn't it? Because at the end of the day, the majority of people there care most about the home form. Anybody who's going to be coming in at the odd game now and again won't have a clue what they want to see the winner.
We talked about it very early in the season, didn't we? We said that was key.
And you can build off it, can't you? I think it's one of those things where if you're winning at home, you can start to find ways to build that into your performance away from home, as we seem to be doing with the Scottish triple header, then the Nottingham game and everything. But if you're losing at home and winning away, I'm not sure it works so well sort of the other way around. I think having that sort of confidence at home and somewhere to where you're going to go back to and perform and feel good about yourself.
At the big battle tent.
Exactly.
The battle tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big battle tent.
Yeah.
That's where we fight.
That's what BBT stands for.
It is. It's the big battle tent.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where people come down, and to Fortress Cardiff, and that's where we. That's where we play.
Yeah. I was doing Match Night Live, and I remember posting saying that they look dead on their feet.
Yeah.
As you would be, because I mean, they've had a ridiculous schedule recently.
They did. I think we were talking about it at the time.
And they looked like they just had nothing left in second, and then there was that turning point. And all of a sudden, it was all us. So
it was a huge comeback. In fairness, I mean, I think it highlights perhaps the different. I mean, I appreciate there's been a massive turnover of players there as well. Like us. But it does highlight the difference between what you see with Belfast when they come down and what you've seen with Nottingham and Sheffield, I think, where they just haven't had that kind of killer instinct, perhaps.
They haven't had consistency.
One other thing, though, we haven't even mentioned it, is another win on penalty shots, was it not? Oh, no, it was
overtime.
It was
yes.
That was the max port. Was that the... Oh, it was Lord, was it?
It was Lord.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, he's class, that guy. You can't say enough good things about him. Chuck the money at him. Try and get him back next year because he's just... And it's not just what he contributes, is it? It's the way he goes about it, the way he plays the game as well. He was going over, the view I had anyway on the weekend against Belfast when there was a bad call basically that led to Belfast's second goal, and it just seems like everything he does with a smile on his face. He was going over to give Darnell a bit of a piece of his mind after that one went in, and he almost looked like he still had a smile on his face. It just looks like everything about hockey the guy loves, and it just rubs off on everyone else on the ice when he's there. So. There's no way he could have given him misconduct because he just looked like he was kind of.
He's too nice a guy, yeah.
So,
that's a bit like the. Well, I suppose we'll talk about that when we go into the whole thing.
Should we move on to that now then?
Yeah, well, I think we got Whistle's first game in charge.
We got the Nottingham away game, yeah. So I mean,
Whistle had a meeting with the guys, talked about a new defensive system, which was a defensive system that we've talked about a number of times on the programme. Moving things around, keeping the shooters wide, a lot more hustle in D. Just preventing the shots, cutting down the shooting lanes. It's something we seem to struggle to do this season. We made it too easy for people to score on us. Too easy to get in on the netminder. They've certainly improved that. The guys had a bit of meeting about it. I don't think they had much practice time before they went up there. They played
enough, don't they?
Yeah, they played that system for Whistle, and they went up there and they got a win. And what they did, which was really impressive, was they kept it very tight that game. A 2-1 win in Nottingham's barn.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting what you were saying, wasn't it? That you work on your defence, you work on your defensive systems, and the forwards are going to score goals.
Yeah, that's what forwards do.
They know their job.
Yeah,
and that, that's down to skill, it's down to luck, but they don't need to have that much.
Yeah,
to be drilled about.
No, we've seen a number of changes, I think, on the ice that we've mentioned while we've been sitting there, but we probably won't talk about that in too much detail. We want other teams to know. There's some of the stuff that we've noticed.
Yeah, that thing with the.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely that. To be honest, I think that specifically is the reason why we've been so successful recently. And I think without that, we'd be losing 10 or 11 games.
Well, I think if every team knew it, they'd probably be winning more games.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Apart from Belfast, who don't lose. And interestingly, statistically, we've been generally in the top 3 teams' performance in the last 10. I think we were second again.
Yeah.
So that's credit to Coach Pope and to Whistler now, who's continuing with that run.
Yeah.
So maybe we jump on then to.
Yeah, well, I suppose just to round that up, I suppose what you could say at the moment is that Brent has taken a situation which wasn't great, and he's given it some momentum and built something, and obviously with Dave Whistle's experience. In coaching, it's come in and it does seem to be sort of going forward from there, doesn't it? So
yeah, they don't look like the same side.
No, so buy into it. You can see
Faulkner looks reborn to me.
Yeah.
I mean that in the nicest way, but he looks like a man reborn. There's a completely new spring in his step.
Yeah. Good.
So
yeah, the other change, of course, between the first Panthers game and the second, aside from the coaching change, was of course Chris Blight wasn't in the lineup for the second game after he was released, and now he's playing up in Sheffield. And there's a lot of the mixed reaction, I would say, overall when you look at kind of the comments regarding that release.
It's natural when you get rid of one of your top point scorers.
Yeah,
there's going to be some reaction. I mean,
yeah. Well, let's have a mini debate. I mean, to be honest, we haven't discussed this between the 3 of us prior to the show, other than saying we're going to talk about it. So we don't know what each other's views are on it. So fingers crossed, we've all got a slightly different one to make it interesting. If not, we'll have to get someone on the show next week for another point of view. But well,
it's difficult, isn't it? I mean, Chris is obviously somebody that does contribute to the game. I think. He hasn't been contributing so much this year as last year. Definitely, I think he's still putting up the points, but he wasn't. I mean, he was out for a period injured, wasn't he? I suppose, but I think he's he's on a very good line. He knows Faulkner, and they've played together obviously for a number of years, so they know each other's play. But I don't think he was quite the force he was last year.
Yeah. He was getting a lot of assists, wasn't he? In fairness, and not getting many goals.
Absolutely.
The Blight this season, we haven't really seen what he brought last season. I don't think, and I suppose to some extent you could say that about Mac as well. But Mac does seem to be finding himself again now. I think with Blighted, he just, for whatever reason it was, he never really seemed to quite find that rich vein of form that he had last season.
It's difficult. What do you do? Is it a financial sort of consideration fact that he's putting up the he's put up the points, but is he putting up the points, and is he worth what he's being is he being paid?
Well, I mean, it's all conjecture, isn't it? Because we don't know. But you would assume as a guy who's brought in on the top line is presumably going to be one of the higher earning players at the club. And I suppose if you just break it down from a hockey point of view, the club is rolling with 12 imports at the time he's released. 13 imports. My apologies. Yeah. And obviously you can only ice 11. And traditionally at Cardiff, I mean, it's the only time I've ever seen us with more.
8, 9,
with more than So I think if you just break it down to I suppose a value for money sort of sense, and in that regard, I suppose not just value for money, but if you were going to release a player from that 13-man squad, I suppose you have to look at who you would release ahead, particularly given the sort of the value for money side of things as well. And there's been sort of discussion over, perhaps this certain player is not as good as him and stuff like that, and but at the same time, it's in that role, isn't it? And it's within that, that structure within the club. And for me, it made sense from a hockey point of view. From a business point of view, it did make sense. And I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but it was kind of, well, if you look around the dressing room at the guys, we're going to talk a little bit later about some of the guys who've come in. I don't know what other move you make. Obviously there's potentially one more to go. You would suspect possibly. But then I suppose on the other side, if a guy's earning a lot of money, you're more likely to that it's easier to keep hold of somebody who's perhaps earning less money, even if they're not going to play every game. So. I suppose the other thing about it is I do think that there's a little bit. I mean, this is Blight's second season with the Devils, and I watch a lot of cricket, and and a big fan of that. And there's particularly in 2020 cricket, which some people watching will know, is these guys, they play for 3 or 4 different clubs, and they can move from one club to another year after year, and that's how often do we see guys stay for a long time in our league at certain clubs? So you've got exceptions like imports now. You've got exceptions like Voth, of course, and people like that. But essentially, they're mercenaries, these guys, aren't they? They're looking for the best, as you would expect, and that's not a criticism. They're looking for the best situation for them year on year, and you would expect the club in return to look that way. So I think, for me, there's less of an emotional thing. If Blight had been here for a number of years and all that, and obviously there's all the issues then with G and stuff where people have talked about. For me, it's a totally different situation with Chris Blight.
He's moved on to a new club.
Yeah, and he's moved on to a new club.
And he's moved on to a club, higher up in the standings. He's possibly, I don't know whether he had a similar pay or more pay, but it's not the other guy isn't.
It's not a bad move.
He's not in the gutter, is he?
He hasn't been gassed.
He's not been cast out and
no.
So
and left with no income. No, that certainly isn't. And he's also much closer to the GB coach now, and I think Chris qualifies. To play for GB,
if there is potential there, then that's a big thing for GB hockey, and that needs a lot of help at the moment as well with the relegation.
To get a good look at him. So that's what. So I know it wasn't easy for Chris because he's got ties in Cardiff with his partner, and obviously with friends. And I know he loved it in Cardiff. He loved the fans, and we'd like to say a great big thank you back to Chris for everything he did for us while he was here.
Oh yeah,
the very nice guy to talk to off the ice, always very affable. Well,
he was massive in the run-in last year, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And
he was tremendous last year. I have to be fair, and there's been flashes of that this season. He's been on a really good line because obviously you've got Faulkner and Kirk are there, and Kirk is one of the standouts in the league really. So a great line to have been on. I'm sure he'll do well at Sheffield, and that they will be glad to have him there. Hard worker. So and
I suppose it's the reality at the end of the day of the club that we're in. We're playing out of you know, a horrendous horrendous facility, you know, aren't we? Let's be honest. We, you know, our crowds.
We've got poor ice.
We've got rubbish ice. The crowds are down from last year. I think there's ways where you could bump that, but you know that's for another.
I think the crowds have been climbing again, though, recently.
But they're climbing again recently, and normally it's strong in the second half of the season. Yes. But naturally, I mean, you know, you're not going to run with 13 imports at the end.
You can't afford to.
There's like the end of the tunnel as well. We've spoken about the fact the new rink's being built. I mean, if you look at Manchester, who had the rink at the same time as us in the same rink, they've got the same problem with the sight lines. Yeah. But they had a slightly more permanent structure put onto it. But there's no sign of any new rink coming for them, so they're going to be stuck in their tin tent. Yeah.
I mean,
with bad sight lines for however long now.
It'd be lovely to be in a position where we could say we can keep Chris Blight and through a sort of dip in form in conjunction with injury, you know, and have that there, and it would be fantastic. But I think the reality is probably, you know, I mean, I don't know the finances of the club, but
well, we don't have the season tickets of Panthers. We don't have the fan base of Panthers. We don't have the size of sponsorship of Panthers, for instance. And I'm not just singling Panthers out. That's true. Clubs like Sheffield.
Steelers,
I'm just talking about clubs that can rotate with additional players, but that's because financially they're very sound, and they don't. It's not going to be an issue when you know how many season tickets you sold a large quantity. That you've got a lot of sponsorship money coming in. The Devils aren't in that position.
Well, Nottingham had was it Tony's they had? The Mad Mystery? The import they had on the books and was there every game and never played? Yeah. So
you've got to cut your cloth according to what you can afford. And a big thank you to Chris for the time that he was with us.
Yeah. Absolutely. But I mean, like you say, the good news is, you know, I mean, in reality, it's a move upwards. In reality,
well, for Chris,
it's a move
for Chris,
for him, and you know we're still getting
in hockey.
We're getting reasonable results without him, so you know things do continue.
Yeah, the wheels haven't fallen off. Like in some clubs, if they lost a key player like Chris, that would make a massive impact on their season. We do have real quality in the team already. So fortunately,
indeed.
Moving on then to the change in coaching. We've spoken about it briefly.
Well, yeah, I mean, I suppose back to cock and bollocks.
You can't call him that.
No, I'm not. I'm not calling him that. I'm calling your drawing that. Which is supposed to be a whistle.
Coach whistle. I think we probably need to tie that up quickly with the next section because we're going to run out of time.
Yeah. Okay.
But coaches come in. There was the Notts game we reviewed. You got Hull and Belfast to talk about. Between
the Notts away game and the Hull game, 2 goals conceded over 125 minutes of hockey,
which is better than one period. The previous game.
And did Kozowski get player? Did he get player of the week?
Kozowski got player of the week for last week, and I have to say against Belfast as well. I thought, I mean, you know, Murphy wasn't at his best, but I thought for quality of shots, Belfast could have had a healthy lead actually after the first period. That's certainly the feeling we had anyway, calling it. And he was immense, and I think
he's an excellent netminder.
This guy is somebody to. He's somebody to build a team around.
I think he's someone to hang on to. He beat a do-set signature move in the Hull penalty shootout, and not many people do that.
I mean, you've got to say, as you said, the team defense is just improving game on game. Isn't it? Without a doubt, he's getting more help than previous goalies have had this season. But you can just see that the guy is class, and it's getting more and more evident every game.
There's a couple of little things that he's still working on, which I think are just because he's a little bit rusty.
Yes, because he hadn't played a bit for a while before coming over. Yeah,
but his rebound control, particularly the wide rebound control, is tremendous. And he did a rebound pass in the Nottingham game, which I can't remember the last time I saw, where he cleared the nearest player and passed it straight to our guy.
There's been a little bit of criticism about the rebounds he gives out, but I think it's just the defence needing to understand where they're going, isn't it? I mean, certainly he's very good at dumping it, sort of rebounding it straight to the boards.
Yeah, he is, which is where it's supposed to go.
Yeah, so I assume it's just the defence having to get used to what he's doing.
I think there's a few that pop out front, but at the end of the day, as a goalie, if you make the first save, you expect your D there.
He got caught out a bit in Edinburgh, but then Edinburgh is so wide. I think it's by far the biggest in the league.
Positioning is much more difficult.
You've got to rebound it that much further to get to the balls anyway.
I think it's his glove control and rebound in front.
It's cooking Edinburgh, wasn't it?
It was cooking Edinburgh.
It was cooking Edinburgh, yeah. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, you're right. No,
sorry.
It was cooking Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Five is also got big ice. Yeah,
so cover yourself up. I think those are the areas that he's working on. His his glove control and the small rebounds in front. And generally the rebounds in front are the ones that are missed gloves most of the time.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's working on.
Yeah.
But in general, from the first game that I saw him to now, his game has stepped up no end and is improving.
And I don't know how much involvement Lacosta's got in the week, but I'm sure there's an element there.
Oh,
We've effectively got a goalie coach, I suppose, in a way.
Who's played in the NHL.
Who's played in the NHL, which, I mean, even if you forget the NHL bit, in this league, it just doesn't happen having a goalie coach, does it?
I know.
So the fact you've got...
Do they speak the same language, though?
They speak goalie.
Is it the universal language of goalie?
He does speak a bit of English.
Yeah?
Yeah, Camille.
So you can get him on anyway, so you can have an interview.
I've spoken to him, and at the end of the day, I know as long as Dan's not taking contact, he can still show him all the moves, can't he?
Yeah.
There's no reason why he can't show him, correct positions. Though I don't think that there's a lot technically wrong with his game.
No.
He's a completely different type of netminder to Cook, in fairness.
Yeah, and naturally that would take a while for the defence to adjust as well, wouldn't it? We talk about the goalies, different goalies coming in, but for a defence core to adjust, they've all been different styles, haven't they, as well?
Yeah.
Cook was exciting to watch. I mean,
Very unorthodox.
Wasn't a technical sort of...
Cook was highlight reel, wasn't he? Yeah.
No, he was spectacularly acrobatic. The big thank you to Phil, because unfortunately last week's programme we had a technical issue and we didn't get a chance to convey that. So a big thanks to Phil and good luck over in is it Finland?
I think he's gone.
Oh, has he got a
Roki?
Was it Rama linked him up? Was it?
Oh, was it? Roki? He's gone.
Fantastic!
One of our new guys linked him up with his old team.
Somewhere near Lapland, wasn't it?
Over there.
Oh, brilliant!
Oh yeah.
Good on him. To be honest,
I think it probably was Rama.
I think it was, yeah.
I'd like to see him back at some point, because I think once if he can just you can see sort of quite raw,
massive potential,
and he's a guy you pay your ticket money for as well, isn't he? Absolutely fantastic to watch.
And he wasn't afraid to check, which I liked in a netminder. Although in fairness to Kozowski,
we were shouting about Murphy.
Well, I think Murphy was anticipating contact last night, so he got himself into the checking position. But that's okay. Kozowski's taken a fair bit of contact, in fairness, since he's been in the net and stood up to it all.
Yeah,
and we know he played while hurt the other night and still put on a tremendous performance against Hull.
Yeah, he got hit in the arm, didn't he?
Yeah, he got hurt.
He wasn't very comfortable.
But he just out, and then when he went to the penalty shots, he was absolutely tremendous. So that the whole game, which we won on penalties with, and my favourite point of that whole thing,
Hull we won on penalties.
Yes.
Was Max.
Oh yeah. I knew we had a penalty win recently.
Max decided on his second penalty that he wasn't going to take a penalty shot. Did you notice that? That was Max thought, I score best when I hit a big slapper.
Yeah.
So he thought, what I'll do is I'll go a little way into that position I like to hit my big slapper from, and I'll hit it. And he did, and he went straight in.
Yeah.
Because it was like a ballistic missile.
He doesn't do it all the time, really, because how are you going to stop
most people wouldn't stop it. No, his accuracy is phenomenal.
Laser, isn't it, as well? Yeah.
So he didn't go in on bounds. He just went to a certain point that he liked and hit a slapper. And it was an absolute screamer, in fairness.
Because, fantastic. Just on that point, though, you mentioned bounds there. Absolutely fantastic to see the performances he's putting in.
Incredible.
He's been so good in our building anyway, and he's been getting great reviews. And it's fantastic for Team GB that there are players of that quality coming through. You see, Matty Davis as well in that game. Yeah. Absolutely, he's if not already, he's on the verge of being an elite level.
Yeah, he had a very
player.
good game.
You've got Lakovic as well at Nottingham. These guys coming through is really, really exciting.
They're stepping up the game. But when you got guys like Murph and Bounds competing for that place and both playing so well this season.
Well, you got sort of comments from Dave Sims in previous years. I know he's had to already eat his comments. Saying that the British netminders aren't consistent enough. And Murphy's showing it this year again.
He's been incredibly
consistent.
He's incredible. He's got defence in front of him at least, but he's
still making plenty of saves.
Fantastic goalie.
And the little weaknesses that I thought he had in his game, I think he's really tidied up this season.
And you look at the amount of saves he has to make when he's playing for GB as well. Normally we're outshot in those tournaments, and Murph ends up with the highest save percentage quite often in those tournaments. So absolutely fantastic.
Bounds, I suppose, to some extent, he sort of came from nowhere as far as I was concerned. Cause I hadn't heard of the guy, and suddenly you got somebody you haven't really heard of starting in the elite. Yeah, and that's a surprise.
Good on Cloutier as well, I suppose. I mean, I know there's a benefit there, of course, to the extra import for them, but it's still a big chance for a coach to take, isn't it? Yeah. Taking on a young British netminder because at the end of the day, if your goalie can't hack it, your team's going to lose.
Well, and their defence isn't the best, and we know that from the number of shots he faces. But his ability shouldn't be questioned. Yeah. He's an absolutely tremendous netman, a great servant to Hull, and a great example for young Brit guys coming through.
When we're talking about Britain and Wonders as well, it's worth mentioning Joe Myers, who got I believe got a man of the match in his first game.
Well done, Joey.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to
fantastic.
Enjoy himself there.
Hashtag dead puck.
You can't do hashtags on dog.
I think you find I can.
You really just
I can do whatever I want. I can do hashtag YOLO swag if I want to.
John can do anything he wants.
No, I know. That's right. I'm allowed.
You can.
Why don't we have a chat about the new guys who came in? There was a fair amount of conjecture.
Well, we've had a chance to see them, haven't we? Because obviously they all turned up for the Scottish games, so people were seeing them who were up there. But
there was words bandied around like Euro trash was one of the words that I heard.
Yeah.
And general, the Euros are all soft. And
it's a bit unfair, seeing as in reality the Brits are Euros as well, aren't they?
Yeah, well that is that to it. Yeah. They won't want to take contact. They won't be physical. We'll be bullied by every team on the ice. Everybody will know that they need to go after us. And then they turned up in Scotland. And
bit of an opener, really, wasn't it?
Was that? It was a bit of an opener, because you suddenly realise that these guys are very capable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a misnomer personally. I think about the physicality. There's plenty of physical players.
Depends on which part of Europe they're in.
That's true, but I think there's plenty of physical players on the continent. But I think the fact that there generally isn't any fighting, and of course the penalties in most of the leagues are game misconducts for fighting. So there's a good reason why they don't fight.
Yeah, there's physicality, but no fighting.
But hitting wise, it's all there, and I think this is the key thing. As long as there's a blend. For me, I'm a big fight fan. I want to see fights stay in the game, and I think they're an important tactical aspect to it when used in the right way. So I'd want to see a mix, but I absolutely, from my point of view, very happy to see a mix of players coming in from the continent and North America. And for us, it's working really well at the moment.
I like the blend we got now. And one of the things that I've noticed, which I said to James, is that they, for some reason, all of a sudden, you can hit a pass, cross ice, halfway up the rink, and it doesn't bounce all over the place. Why is that?
Yeah.
And they can receive it, and in Gypters you got real speed as well.
Let's go through these guys. I mean, you've got obviously we talked about Kozowski, in depth. This guy looks high class. Personally, for me, I'd love to see him back next year, and I think he's going to give us a chance to potentially win the playoffs. Looking at us at the moment. Absolutely. So he's there. Then if we go, as you mentioned him, Gypters, he could be a little bit of a favourite. I think he's so fast. I mean, he's quite quiet the first couple of games up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Really, wasn't he?
He was finding his way.
Quieter of them, but when you can chase down Doucette.
Well, he's chased down Matt Francis from Nottingham, hasn't he, and Guillaume Doucette at Hull, and
he beats him in the foot race.
Incredible. Yeah, he beat someone that he came from miles behind. I can't remember who it was. So, there was the one where I said to him, "Look, he's miles out of position, and he still got there."
That guy is fast.
Yeah.
Very, very fast.
And that's something we haven't had on the back end, is it? For probably since Teplitsky left. Really.
I can't wait to see Richie back and playing with him. To be honest. I think they're going to be great together. Those two.
Line.
Yeah.
Well, they play a similar game.
Yeah.
Good. Fantastic skater. Probably the only guy that can keep up with Kirker.
Yeah. That's saying something.
Good passer. Really good shot. He's got a lot of power and a lot of accuracy there. And I'd like to see him shoot more. To be honest with you.
We were watching him in Walmart, weren't we? And he was like sort of putting pucks in. Every puck went in, and
they don't go in the middle.
No, he's trying sort of top shelf and it's going in. Trying post shot and he was going in.
He's one time when it's really good.
Yeah. So he's got a good eye on him.
So I mean that's a great find, isn't it? And,
really.
And Latvian isn't he? And I believe, and that's a team which is that's a country which is playing at the Olympics. Which starts tomorrow, and there's obviously a lot of depth there, isn't there? A lot of hockey depth. Yeah. Should we come back because we need to go through the others quickly, don't we?
I think we should say Pal Dias to Martins, which I think is thank you in Latvian if I remember correctly.
Oh, you're a very clever man.
It probably isn't. I think it is though.
A language for every episode.
Sveti, Ziga Sveti, who's come on. Big Steve.
Yeah, Big Steve.
It's Svetier, is it?
It's Svetier. I think, yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
So it's Steve.
Yeah. So it's Steve. So,
but he likes Steve, so we're all good.
I mean, I suppose a little bit of the opposite in a way, in that he made a bigger impression in Scotland.
He started off very, very strong in Scotland, yeah.
To be honest, though, I haven't really noticed it.
Which is a good thing in a defenceman.
He does everything quietly and well. He doesn't make many mistakes. He moves the puck out nicely. He does everything, all the simple stuff he does well. Which I
suppose
suppose what we were asking for.
Well, he looks calm on the puck, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he makes simple plays.
And I've noticed that him, Gypters and Kirk both seem to have great spatial awareness. They always know when there's someone on their back.
Yeah, so I mean, I think really good additions. Great balance to the D now, of course. With we all know about Marsh and what
what he brings, the physicality. You got
Plummer as well.
I think Plummer's game has improved because of the change of strategy.
Well, he can play more of a specific role as well now, can't he? And we got to give a big up to Plummer, who's come on the show, of course. And we joked with him last time actually about having to go with Brent Henley in Nottingham, and he has, and that takes some
fair
balls.
play to standing up, as he always does. But one thing about Plums that I've noticed lately, taking a lot less penalties, obviously part of the new strategy, but also is just positional play. It seems to have improved. For me, I think he's having his strongest performances for Devils now, and the whistle.
We've got some new fighters, haven't we? Of course, we've got Kirker and Faulkner. Both quite willing to go by the look of it.
New enforcers.
Yeah, because
that was a hell of a punch with a glove on.
Yeah, that was.
Wasn't backing down, was he? And
that's
Faulkner was straight in there.
That's don't touch the Kirker. That message was from Faulkner.
He's a big guy, Kirker. People forget his name.
Oh, he's well muscled. He's solid. And there was no. He was in there straight away there to defend himself. And to be fair to Mac, though Mac seemed absolutely shocked after he'd done it as to how on earth it had come about, he was in there like a rocket.
He walked past us at the end of the game and he was like, I don't know what to do now. I've never been choked out before.
No.
Where do I go? What
should I do now?
One other player there to whisk through is Marcus Rama that we talked about, who was a healthy scratch for 3 games. He came in for Max Beer-Breyer, who was rested against Belfast. It was a mixed game.
Hit and miss, I would have said.
Yeah.
The Rama's got he's got nice hands, he's got good vision and ability and positional sense.
We're talking about hockey now.
Yeah, but for me, he's lacking hockey fitness.
I think he's. Yeah, I mean, he showed it a bit in Scotland, didn't he? The positionally, he was very good.
Yeah, the Dundee game.
And he was always in the right place for the pass, and he just didn't have the fitness to get down the other end.
I think it's difficult as well on our ice. It's going to be exposed more, isn't it? Because it's one thing for D-men to come in who are used to playing on the international ice surface and play, but at least they get a view of the game from where they are. As a forward, it's another thing again. And there were misplays there. I think personally, when we were on our strong, when we were really getting stuck into Belfast for those 10 minutes. He was working really well. He was getting to the net and causing some problems, which I wasn't expecting from him.
Which I thought was good.
So I think there is potential there, and I think you just see how it goes. But I think he's got to be.
Twice in Dundee, he was in exactly the right place.
Yeah, he got on the break,
and he got the break, and he went high down the ice. And the first time you could see he got to the net, and he was like, "What do I do now?"
Well, that's it. He had a chance to score on his first touch for us,
and he just sort of froze up, and then he obviously got the puck taken off him. But he was there, and he was in position, and he got down the ice.
I would say comparisons to Blight and people saying that he's taken Blight's position are unfair. He didn't choose. It wasn't him who chose to sign for the team. He was asked to sign for the team, and he signed. It was the club's decision that Blight was released. It wasn't Rama's decision. The Whistle obviously has seen him in training and was happy with him to give him a shot for that game. And I'm sure for Whistle, perhaps it was also so he could identify areas he can work on with Rama as well to improve his game.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, again, it's speculation, but given where he's come from in terms of where he's been playing his last couple of years, I would be amazed if he's on the same money again as Blight. He's not playing. He's not a top line guy. He's not expected to be that.
No.
So it's not. They're not. It's not a replacement. And I suppose as a club, if we can afford to keep the extra man, it's more likely.
He play the same position, does he?
Does he play the same position? So you can't sort of compare the two. And I suppose the likelihood is maybe an injury will crop up at some point, and we'll see.
Well, and the other thing is we know that Blight's an excellent player with an excellent background and pedigree. Rama's come in, and it's an opportunity for him to prove himself. So you can't say he isn't as good as Blight, because we weren't expecting that anyway, were we really?
I think one of the things we'll probably touch on more next time, but I'm quite looking forward to seeing, obviously, Richie likely coming back.
Richie should be
week,
back any time
this
now.
Saturday. Hopefully, it's going to strength of the D corps even further, and it's going to be really exciting.
That's going to be an excellent D there.
And on top of that, though, the likelihood, I suspect, of Josh Batch moving up the forward, I'm not sure where his preferences lie in positionally. I think he's played well on D.
I think he'd like to play D because the opportunities with GB, but I think he's better up front.
I think the potential for him there, big guy who can crash the net and crash bang. He's got hands as good as most players on our team, at least. He's got some really good hands.
He's got some good
hands for a big lad. Yeah, as you say. But this it's the classic comment. It's the John Artson, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whatever. And I think...
well, Quiney will be back soon as well.
Quiney back as well. So, I mean, I think it could be a really interesting dynamic having Batch there. I wouldn't mind seeing him potentially on that big line, actually, with Kirk and Faulkner as well, because that could be really interesting. Morissette to drop down for a bit more depth there as well, who's one of the best defensive forwards, I think, probably in the league.
He's not slow.
Very hard work.
So,
keep up with.
So that'll be interesting anyway for us to perhaps look at next time. And
well, I think it's exciting the fact that we've with the guys coming back in, that we've got a lot of real depth in our team as well. We will have when all the bodies are back.
Several injuries and suspensions on the game against Dundee. But anyway,
well, I don't think I think under Whistle we probably won't see that.
No,
because there's a different level of control now.
Certainly, I mean, you don't sort of jinx these things, but there seems to be less chance of getting the injuries you get when you're playing short benched anyway.
True.
And everybody's having to double or triple shift. I mean, in previous years we've had 8 or 9 players on the ice, and you've got like Jada Tulip playing sort of 40 minutes.
Tyson Marsh.
Marsh over the last.
The thing is, there's an interesting comment from Marsh, though, isn't it? After I can't remember which game it was, and Chris Agland said, "Oh, he got man of the match." And Chris Agland said, "You know, so are you tired and all that?" He's like, "Obviously, I'm tired, but I'm a hockey player. I want to play." And it's different, isn't it? Seeing that different. We're not professional hockey players. A lot of fans have been saying, I said it. Maybe it would have been good to have rested him for one of the games over at the Scottish Triple Header or something. But he wants to play. Look at the guy. He wants to play. So, and if he does want to play, I mean, you know, we want him on the ice, don't we?
So talking of the ridiculous schedule we've had recently, that's where we've got one game left of the
ridiculous schedule,
the bunched up everything, and we've only got one game this weekend.
Yeah, which is and nice. The guys can get a bit of rest then, which they deserve. They really deserve.
It's been
and what an amazing run!
It's been amazing run.
It's been
It has, because we didn't play anywhere near as well when we had lots of gaps.
And you imagine this run if we'd have been losing most of it, we'd have been in a real low. So it's been a fantastic.
We've had one blowout loss in Belfast.
Yeah.
And we've had the draw against
Belfast. Yeah,
which is good because we needed to know that we could match them.
Belfast are by far the best team.
Yeah.
This year. I mean, they're
so much depth in that team.
And the big aim, realistically, of course, you want to say, we can take anyone on and all that. The big aim really is to not finish 8th in the league, isn't it? So we don't end up playing Belfast. I think it's probably unlikely, to be honest.
How many points are we from second? We'll 6 points from second currently.
Yes, I don't think we'll finish 8th. I don't know exactly where we'll finish yet. But
Mr. Whistle says he's going for third, which is nice to hear. That's a nice.
That's positive.
Isn't it?
That's positive. We're more than happy with third place.
We'll
hold them to that.
I think we're probably running out of time.
So should we talk about Dundee
the other weekend? Premier Sports game live on Premier Sports, which is
there's no web stream.
There's no web stream, of course.
So I can have a more relaxing night just cutting replays.
We can watch the game.
Yeah, I can enjoy the game for change.
And that means that's exciting though. Great coverage for the club, and Block 3 will be used for that. Which everyone knows, I think, in Block 3, because they were actually on a great deal. They were given free tickets, weren't they, for the midweek game as a result of that, which is a good move, as well as the £5 ticket, which was a great thing because it was a great atmosphere on Wednesday.
It was very good,
and that was a good move, and great to see the fans sort of given something.
Yeah, good to be proactive for the club.
Yeah,
so well done to the club for that.
Yeah, so that'll be great. I think Saturday will be really good. Big game against Dundee, who we're in that bunch with
no Palestroni.
Or
Palestroni.
Minestrone is it?
Yeah,
it says on the sheet.
So he's gone.
He's definitely gone.
He signed with another.
Sweden, was it?
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Palestroni, for them, how good a player is he?
One of their best players.
That's a big loss.
Every time I've seen him play, he's always been one of their most dangerous players up front. Yeah. It is a big loss for them, unfortunately, and it's sad to see a guy that quality go off to the league.
Yeah.
But it happens.
They've also got some injuries as well.
They have. Yeah. They McPherson and Dowsak aren't expected twice. Dundee always, are a challenge. They've got a great netminder, and they do have some great guys on that team. Mike Whirl, obviously. I didn't.
Your mate.
I didn't mention that I knew him. No, they have got some real quality in that team.
Also, we beat them. Was it 5-1?
Oh yeah.
Away a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we beat them at home recently.
So you know they've.
Yeah.
We know we can do it.
And I think we'll need to wrap up because the director's looking tense.
Last but not least, thank you very much to my gentleman here, Jon James.
Very formal.
My gentleman. And of course, Joe as well.
Yeah.
Your good lady, for investing very kindly. They bought me a present from the Scotland trip, which I wasn't on, and it is a return of valid socks. And for your viewing pleasure, we're going to table the rest on some wonderful tartan socks from the Scottish triple header. So very, very much that's a personal. Oh my God, that hurt!
You got your shoes on either.
I've just blown my knee. So there we are.
Big thanks to the Drum Depot and Red Army Travel, our sponsors, and good luck to Brent over at the Olympics.
Is there a possibility?
We'll look forward to seeing what hat you put on.
Yes, and hopefully lots of mentions of the Devils over there as well.
We'll
talk about the Olympics more next time. We were going to talk about it. We've run out of time. We'll talk about the Olympics more next time after there's been probably 1 or 2 games, hopefully, in the hockey tournament. And
thanks very much.
Is there a chance of some guests next week, possibly?
Possibly some guests.
There's a possibility.
Not
of
San
guests.
Luis, though, unfortunately, we thought we were getting because he's been called
he's
up.
had to pull out, unfortunately, because he's going to the Olympics. So, shame. Owes us one.
Ta-da.